Anime Death Spiral, the only anime podcast with 100% anti-anime deprogramming success rate. We're back. We're going to dissuade you from watching anime.
It worked on me. Let me tell you, folks, I haven't watched anime in ages.
I've got him down to just 4 Gyaru comics a day. That sounds bad, but huge improvement.
Hey, they're not even the long chapters. They're just the short ones. They're just the little ones.
They're the short little ones.
Yeah.
They're not even the incredibly misogynist ones either. They're kind of the goofy, harmless ones now.
Yeah.
He's come a long
so,
way.
my recovery is coming along wonderfully. I can't thank you enough, Doctor.
Yes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Someone in anime recovery should not be doing an anime podcast, but let me assure you, what we do here is outreach.
This is actually a highly advanced form of aversion therapy to anime.
Yes. I need to keep giving you more Happy Sugar Life style manga so that you just become so thoroughly disgusted with the entire art form that you cannot proceed.
Yeah, really beat me down, I deserve it.
I mean, I have more shit like that. There's some stuff I don't really want to admit to reading, but it's bad. It's pretty bad.
Oh, man. It must be bad if you don't want to admit to reading it.
Oh, it's dark, heinous shit. Happy Sugar Life by no means is the only truly disgusting shit I've read. And I don't even mean that in like a grindhouse exploitation way. I mean like just shit that will make you feel bad for like a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, okay, here's the thing about Happy Sugar Life is that I think at the end of the day, and maybe this is something wrong with me, but I somehow found that like less overtly offensive morally than the Gyaru comic about dating your teacher.
Yeah, well, I do agree with you there. I was not going for like purely like ethically irresponsible when I recommended that to you. I just wanted to make you like feel bad and gross.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of my default setting. So
it didn't take much. It didn't take much to push you over the edge. I'm thinking like I don't know if we ever talked about like something like Taco P's Original Sin.
I've heard the name before. Is that by the same guy that did Pun Pun?
No, different guy, but in the same vein.
Okay.
Taco P's Original Sin is by Tyson 5. He's the guy who did that manga about the family that all have amnesia.
Okay.
Do you remember that one? I definitely talked about that one.
I'm laughing unless it's a somber comic. Where it's sad that they all can't remember each other.
I mean, it's kind of fucked up because it happens over and over again.
It's like 50 First Dates, but for everybody every day.
Exactly. Yes, the entire family. Mom, dad, son, daughter, grandma, grandpa. Like over and over again.
And they probably leave notes for each other around the house explaining what the deal is as soon as they wake up.
Yeah, sort of. It kind of turns out... Should I just spoil it?
Yeah, spoil it.
Okay, it turns out that there is an eldest son that they've all forgotten, and he was like the shining light of the family, and their kind of piece of shit parents sort of drove him off because he wanted to become a photographer and not like whatever striver parents want their kids to be. Doctor, lawyer, I guess.
VTuber these days.
VTuber. Successful male idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to try to restart the family because they feel like they're so in the hole, they have incredible like, emotional tension between each other. The dad loses his job and he has to work at a McDonald's, and like the mom becomes like this abusive hoarder. The daughter starts doing compensated dating with like older men. The son is one of those kids who's just like completely shunned by everyone in his school. They all carve like dye into his desk. The traditional being bullied kid.
Sure. Uh-huh.
It's bad news. Bad news. Grandpa and Grandma seem to be the only ones who are kind of holding it together.
Well, because they couldn't remember shit to begin with.
Yeah, because, it turns out that the grandpa was already getting pretty bad Alzheimer's, so that's kind of like a weird reveal later on. But the youngest son decides like he wants to do something about it, so he kind of like fights back. But it's a really good comic. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a short read. It's like 48 chapters. I had a lot of fun. I think Tyson is a good artist and a good author. He has his own pretty strong style. Doesn't really look like anything else out there. But he did Takopi's Original Sin first. And that's very short, maybe 10, 15 chapters. And it is pure, like, mainline child abuse drama shit. Just the worst shit you could possibly imagine happening to children. And the conceit is that this little squid-looking alien descends from Happiness Planet onto Earth. He's been banished from Happiness Planet. And he shows up on Earth and he meets this little girl who has basically the worst possible life a little girl could have in every single way. And he's like, he doesn't really understand Earth or like humans or whatever. So he's kind of like, hey, let's have happy days together. And she's like, I just kind of want to die. And he's like, well, instead of dying, how about you play with my magical ray gun? It's really good. I really like it, but it did really fuck me up emotionally.
It sounds dark.
It is incredibly dark.
And you seek out these things because, like, what about this speaks to you?
I mean, I did say last time, like, your weird pervert shit is like these just garbage bin Gyaru romance comics, right? And my garbage bin is just emotionally devastating, like, exploitation drama shit. I don't know why.
This is Travis Bickle holding his hand over the flame on his stove.
You know, I mean, I guess so. I guess so.
A little bit.
I've been saying forever that, like, well, you know, sometimes you dive in there and you find like a true masterpiece. Like, I've been talking forever about trying to get other people to read Bokurano or watch the anime at some point. And that is truly one of the most emotionally devastating comics I have ever read in my entire life. That is, I have unhealing wounds on my heart from reading Bokurano. I don't regret it, though, because it was really, really fucking good. I told you about Bokurano, right?
Yeah, you've mentioned it before. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was being pretty inflammatory, I think, a little bit, but I said Bokurano was like if Evangelion was done correctly. Like, if somebody smart had written Evangelion and didn't have to try the ending 3 times.
Hey, you know, leave Anno alone. He's had a tough couple of years, all right? His studio shut down, or his ex studio shut down.
Yeah.
You know.
Not his. His studio's still going strong.
Actually, he's probably doing fine now because now that Gainax is out, does that mean he gets to have full control of Eva?
It would be interesting to see what happens with that shit. I think part of Gainax going bankrupt means that, like, well, who knows? I don't know anything about Japanese law. In America, generally that leads directly to, like, the liquidation of all company-held assets. Mm-hmm. You know, like what's happening to Alex Jones right now.
Being stripped for parts by the state.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody could buy InfoWars right now for, like, real cheap.
Shit, should we do that? Would that boost our numbers?
Oh, I think that would be such a funny bit to just buy InfoWars.
Hey, this no-name anime podcast just bought the InfoWars brand.
And just put anime reviews on there. Woke-ass anime reviews. Like, okay, now, in this review, we want to talk about Naruto from an intersectional lens. I think that would be really funny.
I mean, it's already about child soldiers. I think I think there's a lot of analysis you can do to the plot and world of Naruto.
Yeah, but they like being child soldiers. They're, like, into it.
Well, it comes with having superpowers, so it's understandable, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have superpowers. I'd be really jazzed on that.
Okay, having the superpowers and the way they're used, essentially, that's like in real life if every country had child soldiers, but all wars were fought with paintballs or something.
But people die. People die in Naruto.
Occasionally, you know, sometimes they pull out like an illegally modified paintball gun or something.
Naruto, I mean, the very first mission they go on, Naruto has to kill the fucking water ninja, remember? That dude fucking dies.
Does Naruto kill him, though? I thought I thought it was something else. It's been a long time since I've read the beginning of Naruto.
It for me too. Yes, it has been quite a while. I believe Naruto had the coup de grace, as they say, but I honestly I cannot remember.
Hey kid, here's your first mission. By the way, you have to kill this adult man.
Kill this adult man, or he'll hurt your friends. Right? That's like the whole thing.
Well, if I remember right, you're talking about the guy with the big sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, his whole thing was he was trying to lead a government rebellion with his gang because he didn't like how prisoners were treated.
Yeah, reformists, always the bad guys, right?
Yeah, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he was just saying that and he just wanted to use his prisoner gang as a prisoner gang.
Yeah, you know what? I watched The Nice Guys again the other night.
Is that the one with Ryan Reynolds?
No.
What am I thinking of?
I don't even know what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I'm thinking of R.I.P.D.
Oh, God. Yeah, with Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, with Jeff Bridges.
Oh, boy. No, I'm talking about The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. The
Right.
Shane Black movie.
Actually, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking of Ryan Gosling and said Ryan Reynolds.
No, the good one. That is the best Shane Black movie by far. Holds up.
I don't know.
Man, that movie is fucking funny, dude.
Predator 1 is still a good movie. I haven't seen The Nice Guys, so I can't compare it to Predator, but that's the one Shane Black movie I think I've definitely seen, and I liked it.
The Nice Guys, I think, is better.
You know, I did not see The Predator, which I think is the other Shane Black Predator movie, and that was the one where the Predators wanted to learn the ways of warfare from the autistic child, I think.
What?
Did you not see that one?
No, The Predator is the one where the Predator is getting hunted by the super Predator, so he gives his Predator armor to the like ex-Navy SEAL guy.
Is that The Predator?
Yeah, that's The Predator.
Yeah, no, that's the same one. And there's a bit in it where there's like an autistic coded child. And the Predator is like, we want to take this child with us to learn the ways of warfare.
That's stupid. I hate that.
Because his brain works differently and he's better at warfare than all of you other humans. I swear to God, that was a plot point in that movie.
This 11-year-old child has read both The Five Rings and Sun Tzu's Art of War. He is much better equipped for our style of life. We will teach him our ways.
I would love a slice of life manga.
If we can get him to stop playing with this fidget spinner.
Okay, a slice of life manga about a human child living with predators, but it's like it's cute. He like teaches them like human stuff too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It's like a cohabitation sort of like Odd Couple comedy thing.
Yeah, I'm imagining, nothing too heavy, like maybe a 4-coma kind of format. Yeah.
I can see that. That would be kind of fun.
I think that could be fun.
It's sort of boy raised by wolves kind of scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that could be cool. That kind of happens in Predators, sort of. Like it's almost on the edge of that,
That's the one with Adrian Brody, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen that one with sound. I've only seen it because it was projected on the wall of a goth nightclub that I was in.
And you were trying to avoid eye contact with the goths?
Exactly. I was trying to avoid looking at other people or interacting with other people. So I was just staring at this silent version of Predators projected on a brick wall next to a bathroom.
Not the worst movie to watch without sound.
I'm almost positive that it improved it.
Maybe. What was I saying? No, the point of watching, I said The Nice Guy is like, those movies always have a tendency to like punch down on like anyone who has like vaguely progressive politics. So like there's a scene where, and again, this one hits a little different now. The movie's only from 2016, but there's a whole scene where a bunch of environmental activists are having a die-in. So they're all like pretending to be dead on the steps of, I guess it's like the courthouse.
Okay. When you first said die-in, my thought went to they were like having a tie-dye party. Like they were dyeing clothes, like hippies.
They are hippies.
Did they have tie-dye clothes?
They're all wearing like gas masks, and that's kind of the joke. Is Russell Crowe goes like, "Well, if you died from the smog, why the gas masks didn't help?"
Okay.
And they tell
All
him
right.
to shut up.
Okay. They do a gotcha on the dumb activists.
A very light gotcha.
A light gotcha-ing.
Yeah, like it's still funny, but you see somebody kind of very lightly ribbing environmental activists in the late 70s, and you're like, yeah, but they were right.
They were right though.
They were completely fucking right. Like extremely correct.
You fools, I wasn't wavy gravy.
It's kind of like somebody pretending like smog isn't a problem in LA of all places is sort of like, oh, okay. Even a fucking diehard reactionary's got to roll their eyes a little bit, right?
Like you know we have movies that were filmed in high definition, like celluloid from the 70s that pretty explicitly shows the smog cloud hanging over the city.
Yeah, you're like wiping the lens of the camera, but it's not coming off.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Nice Guys, that fucking rules, dude. That movie kicks ass.
Never saw it.
I watched that and Godzilla back to back. Godzilla
Oh yeah,
minus one.
Godzilla -1. How was that?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really interesting. It's weird to watch, reconstruction Japan from my comfy ass American viewing seat. It's just, I don't know, there's a weird feeling to it, They're all like, they're literally in like an apocalyptic hellscape in Tokyo. What was Tokyo previously? And what one day will be again. But in the meantime, they're like literally sleeping on piles of rubble and shit. And you're like, oh yeah, we did that.
Wait, so does Godzilla -1 take place in the 40s?
It is 46. I
Oh.
believe it's 46 and 47. But it starts in 44 as Japan is losing.
Okay. I didn't realize that it was a period
Yeah.
piece.
It is a period piece. It is a very dramatic period piece about a kamikaze pilot who turns back at the last second.
And
So you can
only
imagine.
to encounter Godzilla.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would feel. I don't know how I would feel in that situation.
But hold on. He encounters Godzilla twice.
Twice.
Not even the one time. Twice.
Well, 3 times is a pattern, so.
If he makes it to the 70s, yeah, Godzilla's coming back. So he wasn't that old. I mean, he was a young guy in the 40s. So yeah, he'd probably be around 60 when Godzilla comes back. A 60-year-old guy could still fight Godzilla, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Depending on how you fight Godzilla. A 60-year-old guy could get in there.
I mean, generally they have some other. Well, okay, I don't know. I don't know how you want to quantify that, because most of the time Godzilla is kind of the good guy in the movies, right?
Yeah, he's not the good guy.
He's not the good guy in this one. It's not a friendly
No,
Godzilla. We're going back to mean Godzilla.
He's pretty mean.
It's
Well, he's a wild animal, so I don't know, but he's killing a lot of people indiscriminately. It's not good.
no. I mean,
he's
I'm
not
not
being good.
advocating for it. If that's
You're on Godzilla's side.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if we're picking sides, Godzilla is very, very tall and can shoot nuclear bombs out of his mouth. So if I can be on his side, then yeah, I guess that's probably the one to be on.
I mean, I'm not sure how you'd convince Godzilla that you're like chill.
Oh, well, I would do like kind of like a mind meld with him, which is something that he can do.
You climb up on top of his head, press
Yeah.
your foreheads together.
It's like that scene of May and my neighbor Totoro crawling onto his belly and making a little nest bed. I get up there, and nestle down next to his big eyebrow ridge.
One thing I really like about -1 is that Godzilla's big. He's not just big, he is fucking huge.
Now I wonder if that is a direct response to the popularity of the American like reboot Godzillas.
Yeah.
Because to date, that one, like, it was a marketing thing, I remember. people were talking about, like, oh, the 2014 Godzilla, that's the biggest Godzilla ever. I saw charts on the internet explaining how this Godzilla was the tallest Godzilla out of all the Godzillas.
Oh,
yeah?
We have serious Godzilla inflation going on.
Yes. And so now they're like, well, we have to keep up with the American Godzilla. We got to make him even bigger.
You know, the thing is, you know the famous shot, right, where like he steps down and there's like the one person staring up between his toes?
Sure, yeah.
That kind of thing. At some point, you can't do that because you'll be so incredibly small. The camera shot won't make sense.
They've already reached that point. That's why all of the scenes with like Aaron Taylor Johnson in that 2014 one are like him looking at Godzilla through binoculars, like from a helicopter or something, because he is absolutely huge.
I guess I never saw that one. I guess they've been scaling him down then.
You know, okay, do you know how big the original the 1950 Godzilla was?
Well, I think the dude in the suit was about 6 feet tall.
I mean, diegetically, do you know how big the monster was supposed to be?
I have no idea.
50 feet. Or 50 stories, excuse me, 50 stories.
50 stories.
50 stories.
A little more than 50 feet.
A little more than 50 feet. But still, a significant size difference between that and the Godzilla that you can literally see from space.
That's cool. I mean, that is cool. I'll give him that. Seems unwieldy, though. That's all I'll say. Hey, where do you find yourself on the Cloverfield thing? Is Cloverfield a Godzilla movie or not?
Is Cloverfield a kaiju? Depends on which of the Cloverfields you're talking about.
I'm only talking about the first one.
Yeah, I do think that counts as a kaiju movie.
Is that a Godzilla movie?
I don't think it's a Godzilla movie because I don't think it has anything particularly substantial or thoughtful to say about anything, unlike Godzilla.
Really? No,
yeah.
I feel like that is a definitive post 9/11 movie.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I guess. You know, when you put it that way.
You know, watching a kaiju.
Shit, I forgot about 9/11.
You're supposed to never forget, Nate.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I forgot about it.
Cloverfield came out in 2008. There are two big 9/11 movies that came out around that period, right? I think Cloverfield is one of the big ones.
What's the other one?
And of course, the other one, same year. Can you guess? I'll give you one guess.
Oh, shit. 2008.
It's a really big movie. Really big movie.
Iron Man?
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Hey!
That's right.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Nice. Those two movies are like, I mean, they're, you know, people will say whatever, like Zero Dark 30 or whatever, or even like, you know, the scene in Spider-Man.
Listen, if it's about 9/11, it's not actually about 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. In that era, you couldn't look at 9/11 head on. You had to do some bullshit like fantasy manipulation to it. So 9/11 movie is a kaiju movie. 9/11 movie is a superhero revenge movie.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we were dealing with. 9/11 is all the New Yorkers going, "We got your back, Spider-Man. Don't mess with New York."
That promotional image of the Spider-Man web between the two towers. It still hits so good to these today.
It's great. One of the greatest pieces of Americana that exist from that time period, for sure.
Oh man.
Yeah. So anyway, in Godzilla nukes Tokyo. That's pretty crazy.
So are they don't in Godzilla -1, do the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki still happen?
Well, this is set, you know, after that. So
did they wait? Is that what woke up Godzilla?
No, actually, very specific. I don't think this counts as a spoiler. They very specifically show that the nuclear test at Bikini Atoll is what creates Big Godzilla.
Okay, so they're going with the Matthew Broderick canon.
Yeah, I guess so. Is that how it happened there?
Yeah, Jean Reno explicitly lays that out at the beginning of Godzilla 1998. He's like, it was a combination French and American nuclear test that we did on Bikini Atoll in the 1940s. And, yep, we created Godzilla.
Huh. Yeah, that movie passed through me just completely.
I was like a dinosaur kid. And so, obviously, that translated into
nerd.
a love for the Godzilla form type movie. And so I was real big into the 1998 Godzilla, is what I'm saying. When I was like 9 years old, that was, in fact, like my favorite movie.
Over Jurassic Park.
Well, I had worn out Jurassic Park at that point, right?
You're bored of Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park didn't have the big lizards shooting atomic breath, which is cool.
You built up a tolerance to regular dinosaurs, and you had to get a fix somewhere else.
I don't think that is an unreasonable position to take as a 9-year-old boy.
Hey, you know the Jurassic Park manga, right?
What, really? I was not aware.
Yeah, I'm trying to pivot back to manga so I can talk about the manga I've read.
Oh, okay, nice transition.
we gotta get our hands on that Jurassic Park manga. I'm actually very excited to read that. I really. If you find it, I know it exists. If you find it, you gotta share it with me because I really got my hopes up seeing the one screenshot I have. I really want to read that one.
I'm so curious if it's based off of the 90s movie or if it's part of the new canon. Like what?
No, it's 90s. It's 90s as hell, man. Hold on, I'll send you the picture I have. The one rare picture I managed to snag of it.
Rare screenshots, people.
The only good thing that ever came from being on Twitter was occasionally seeing weird manga.
Oh shit! I think I found the screenshot.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Is the 90s ass looking kids? Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Are you sure this isn't AI?
No, because check this out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's the copy. That's like real. That's a real thing.
Oh, I need that. I need to own that.
I know. That is dope as hell. I gotta get my hands on this shit.
Oh my god. Look at this. Sorry, folks. This is probably all going to get cut out in post, but I'm too excited.
You can't tell them that.
Fucking anime Dodgson.
Oh yeah, that's that good shit.
Look at that. We got Dodgson over here.
Does it really resemble Wayne Knight at all? But that's okay. That's all right.
No, I think that looks close enough to Wayne Knight.
He's got like an incredible Superman jaw in this panel here. Wayne Knight, no offense to the man, he doesn't have a Superman jaw.
To be fair, I think they really captured Laura Dern. Anime Laura Dern looks spot on.
Yeah, the character design isn't like the most well defined. They've got a bit of a genericization going, but I definitely see it. I don't remember Laura Dern wearing a bow in her hair though.
No, that's in addition.
I don't think that happened. But I definitely see it. Yeah, look at her getting down, fucking with those dinosaurs. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Oh man,
what's she got? She got a katana?
No, I think she has a bar, like a piece of bar.
She whips out her katana, starts hacking up dinosaurs. God, manga's so cool.
We flipped. We like manga again.
I like it. I actually like it. I've actually been reading a lot of manga. I cannot lie.
All right.
Been reading a shit ton of manga.
Okay, all right. Let it out. I know you're itching to talk about it.
Okay, well here's what I actually wanted to talk about before we got sidetracked with all this bullshit. Is we talked about my sick predilection towards manga that is just like emotionally devastating. But I do have I do have other habits, manga reading habits. And one of the ones that is very prevalent, it comes in and out. But one of the ones that is been very prevalent recently is my sort of obsession with reading the manga canon, shall we say.
You're looking for the great works, the classics.
The classics, which is a weird thing to do because, there is sort of a dueling canon scenario here where I think the Western manga and anime canon is different from the Japanese manga and anime canon?
I mean, absolutely. I think that, first of all, other than the fact that manga is Japanese and was there first, it has a much longer cultural penetration, right? I'm sure that if you asked a Japanese person what they think of as a classic manga, they would say something like Golgo 13 or Lupin, right?
Did you say Lupin?
Lupin.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sure, yes. Yeah, or, Astro Boy.
Or Astro Boy, or...
Doraemon.
Gigantor 13, any of those. If you ask an American, like your average anime fan, if you pulled someone stinking and sweating out of a con crowd right now and asked them what they thought a classic manga is, I mean, if we're talking right now, if we did this today, they would probably say Naruto is a classic manga, If you asked
Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball may even be too old for them,
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z. If you were asked someone from our generation what a classic is, we would say like Dragon Ball or Ranma 1/2 or something like that, right?
Yeah. King of Hell, sure. No one read that. Usagi Yojimbo.
Is it okay? I don't actually. That's a huge question. I don't want to get into, but like, does Usagi Yojimbo count as a manga?
Oh yeah.
Do you think so?
100%. Definitely. Yes. I'll put my chips down on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Sensekai was writing manga, for sure.
Okay. All right.
Intentionally, not even on accident. He did it on purpose.
He did it on purpose, folks.
He did it on purpose.
Okay. All right. But yes.
In pursuit of that, and I want to be, because I am obviously an intelligent, cultured person who's, probably better and more well-read than you, the audience.
I mean, it's definitely true for me.
Definitely true for you.
Yeah,
it goes without saying. But I don't want to rest on my laurels of culture and intelligence. I want to continue learning and expanding my knowledge and my little dragon hoard of experience. So I seek out what is considered canon, right? The big works. And I mean, to be real, I do feel like I have huge gaps in my manga experience. Like I remember reading Berserk for the first time, like pretty late in my life and being like, damn, why did I never read this before? I feel dumb now. And that's happened a few times, In this instance, I went back and I started reading Vagabond.
The big one.
Which is a pretty big one. It might even be one of the biggest ones. Vagabond is by Inoue Takehiko, who is the slam dunk guy. So he has two pretty big ones under his belt. Oh, that's not the way to say that. That's not
phrasing.
The greatest way to put that. He's an accomplished manga artist and author. But I have a bit of a problem with slam dunk. I don't want to get into it, but Vagabond, I cannot ignore any longer. It is a juggernaut at this point.
Now
I think we're up to like 300 chapters already.
Jeez.
It's getting pretty big. I need to catch up.
Is it still going?
I believe it is still going.
Okay, so brief me a little, because as we just mentioned, I am uncultured. I don't know how to read. I never learned how to read. I grew up in a Catholic orphanarium. They never taught us our letters.
Yep.
And so I don't know what Vagabond is really about, other than being a samurai story.
Well, it is not just a samurai story. It is the samurai story. It's based on the book Musashi.
Okay, the about the famous swordsman.
Yes, it is the novel by Eiji Yoshikawa.
Okay,
wrote a kind of fictionalized version of Musashi's life. Takezo Shinmen, as he was originally called. And so the manga is based on that account, not necessarily like the actual historical events or Musashi's own book, the Book of the Five Rings. And you could really tell because, man, it is dramatized to hell. There's no like fantasy shit, but it gets real wild. I think the main draw here is that like the art is insanely good. This is one of the best looking comics.
Well, that's kind of
period.
Basically, what I know about it is like random like screen grabs of the art that I've seen online through the years. And, I've seen it obviously at bookstores. I've seen the covers.
Obviously.
I've never read it, but, well, I mean, for a long time, it's like Vagabond was one of the only manga where it's like you could buy the first 12 volumes or something because it's been going on so long. So on a core memory is going into like a Borders Books and looking at their manga shelf and seeing whichever title had the longest block of books that you could buy, because that means that you would run out slower of stuff to read. And Vagabond was always up there.
It's pretty massive. Like I said, like over 300 chapters now, and it's taken a bunch of hiatuses too. So you could really tell it's been running for a long time. I find Vagabond to be incredibly impressive, not just because the art is incredible. I mean, above and beyond.
Well, it borders on that like hyper realism style sometimes.
He does like to eschew a traditional manga style for something a lot more detailed. Yeah. But I find there is a way he is translating the fictionalized story of Musashi. I find it to be incredibly skillful because, and I haven't read the book, so I don't know what it stacks up to, but I'll tell you, in manga form, I am glued to it. I am fascinated by it. I'm barreling through it at a frankly unhealthy pace.
So it hooked you. You're into it.
Oh yeah. But what I find most impressive is that Musashi himself, we have basically three characters in this book. Musashi, Takezo himself, his former best friend who abandons him early in the story, and then another childhood friend, the girl that pines for him. These are like our three characters. Takezo, Musashi, is incredibly unlikable. He fucking sucks. He's pretty much a piece of shit.
Is he drinking and whoring and fighting?
No, but he is fighting. He doesn't do the other two things.
Oh, okay.
In fact, one of the things over and over again in the story is that Musashi cannot hold his liquor, so he just does not drink. His former friend can. And his former friend is like one of the most disgusting creeps you could possibly imagine. He's just this like pathetic, pitiful loser whose entire life's motivation is based on like his jealousy and shame that he's not his former friend. You know, he's not like a master swordsman. He's not a legendary figure. He's none of these things. He's just a drunk asshole who got ran out of his own home for being such a useless piece of shit. And we kind of follow him around sometimes in the story, just doing the most egregious shit. And it's awful. And you just go like, man, I fucking hate this guy. I hope he dies soon.
Is it for a purpose? Does it tie into the plot? Or is it just to see like, oh, and hey, here's this guy being a piece of shit again?
Well, their lives are all intersecting, you know. In the story of Musashi, him and his friend leave their small village to fight in the Battle of Sekigahara, right?
Uh-huh.
And they just barely survive, you know, like face down in the mud kind of shit, like barely struggle out. And there's sort of a strange encounter they have afterwards where Musashi has to kill a bunch of bandits who have come to kill them. And while he's doing that, the best friend just runs off because he's a coward, you know?
As you do. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting.
And this would probably also happen to you, where the shame of this event essentially warps him as a human being and destroys the rest of his life.
Okay, you see what he did wrong there was caring about it. I would run away and then I wouldn't care about running away and then I'd be fine.
Well, you're a stronger man than he.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This guy sounds like he sucks, and I would live his life better than him.
You would definitely rock it. I believe as a useless piece of shit who lounges around the house getting drunk all day, you would nail that shit.
I would own the role, and I would be the best at it.
You would be very good at it.
People would talk about it in a good way.
And then the third character being this girl who pines for him, but, being the story that it is, she doesn't get a lot of screen time. And also, she doesn't really get to do anything. She gets kicked around. And of course, Musashi is a piece of shit asshole, so she never really gets to, do anything there. And she doesn't really have any interest outside of, meeting him for most of the story. So, that's kind of a drag.
I mean, it sounds like what we have here is a classic anime trio, a Naru Sasukura.
It really is. It absolutely is in one of its strangest forms. But yes, we absolutely do have a Naru Sasukura in a true perversion of the Naru Sasukura. But like I said, the fact that these three elements, which, each on their own would be incredibly grating, coming together to create something as compelling as this manga is nothing short of astounding. I am insanely impressed with what this manga does. It is so good. It is so compelling. And we've mentioned this before, but I don't even really like samurai. I'm not like a samurai guy.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it in relation to me playing Ghost of Tsushima, but samurai suck and ninja are only marginally cooler.
Yeah, I mean, samurai, even in the period of Musashi where they're sort of becoming more like, essentially like martial arts schools, that's kind of where they're contained to, and then just rich assholes, that's kind of where samurai are at. As the era of the warring states kind of winds down, what you're left with is either weird musclehead dudes who only know how to fight, or wandering rich baby assholes who think they're cops.
I'd be that one.
You chose that guy?
Yeah, I'd choose that guy.
I think I would be the other guy, because
you want to be the musclehead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm flattering myself, but I would think I would be better than to be like some wandering asshole cop. I think I would be a dojo guy, I think.
I mean, isn't wandering asshole cop kind of just like the basic archetype of all action movies?
Well, there is, and Musashi is the best embodiment of this, but a lot of these are the murder hobo, as it has been coined over the years.
Well, okay, so murder hobo, as I understand it, was explicitly referred to as like it was a D&D term referring to player characters. All they do is adventure and kill stuff and try and find money, and they don't actually have any place to live because, they just live their life adventuring. That's a murder hobo.
Yes, and in the romantic form of that is the Way of the Sword.
Sure.
But Way of the Swordsman type people, the Kenshin, right? The Ronin.
The Kenshi,
Those are quite literally murder hobos. They wander from place to place, nowhere to live or stay, sleep in people's barns, and during the day they murder people. That's the entirety of Musashi's life.
Okay, let's not act like context doesn't matter, all right? A lot of those people that they murder tried to murder them first. They had it coming.
Well, you say that, but a lot of times, like in Musashi, his whole shit is he wanders up to people and goes, "I heard you're pretty good with the sword. What do you think about me killing you?" And they go like, "Well, you can't kill me. I'm better than you." And then he kills them. So you tell me, like, what that sounds like a murder hobo to me.
I mean, if I wasn't 100% sure that I could kill him, I would say like, yeah, you probably could kill me. Yeah, I agree.
But you're not allowed to do that in feudal Japan. You can't say, "Hey, yeah, you probably would kill me." You have to be like, "No, I would win."
Oh,
you're not allowed to back down.
You see, that's where you're getting tripped up, because I just wouldn't do that.
I would simply not die by the sword if I lived by the sword.
Yeah. I mean, has anyone ever considered it? That's all I'm saying.
Apparently not.
Because I just don't do things that I don't want to do. I just don't do it.
Wow, you're a badass.
Yeah. I'm a total Sigma male.
Yeah, there is a thing where I find it very frustrating. The only thing I really find frustrating about this story is not even have anything to do with the story. It's just the same frustration I have about any story about quote unquote warriors, which is like a dude shows up to your sword fighting house. Is that what they call them?
Yeah. The fighting house.
The old sword fight house.
The punch garage.
Yeah, and he goes like, "Hey, I've come to sword fight house you and kill your guys." And they're like, "How dare you?" As if that's not the whole purpose of having a sword fight house. And then everybody, and then either what, you kill the guy and you throw his corpse out onto the street and you brush your hands, that's the end of it. Or he kills your guys. And then you have the balls to be like, "Yay, he killed one of our guys that he said he was going to kill, and our guy said that would be fine." What? How are you mad about that? Why would you be mad about that? Everybody agreed to the terms of this whole fucking situation.
But now, the two people that agreed to fight, one of them's dead. That contract is null and void, and the rest of the school, the rest of the dojo, isn't beholden to it. They can gang up on whoever they want. Contract's over after death.
You think like that just null and void at that point? It's chill to just murder that guy now that he's won.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then, like, what is the point of all the extraneous shit that builds up around the sword fight house?
What's the point of having a sword fight house if if you're not gonna kill every jabroni that comes up and challenges you?
It's just like hanging out and waiting for guys to come in to get murdered by you.
Okay,
but if a guy comes in and he murders you, bets are off.
So, okay, I've always just assumed that the sword fight houses weren't all that serious of a place to begin with, and it was really more like, it's like a men's club, right? You go there, you have some beers, you play cards, and then people show up asking questions like, "Oh yeah, no, we're definitely, this is definitely a sword fight house. We're sword fighting." Sure. And then when they leave, you go back to playing Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever.
It's like you get your light cardio out at the beginning of the day, swinging the sword around. Everybody has a couple of sparring matches to get limber.
Yeah.
You drink your sake, you joke around, you tell manly men type stories. Maybe you throw the bones. Everybody calls it quits. You go to the pleasure district. You wake up tomorrow, you do the whole thing over again.
I mean, that is exactly what is going on in all of those fake schools that Kenshin fights, right? Like that's a recurring thing. He'll go in and it's like, "Hey, you're teaching bad sword fighting in this house. You're nothing but a gang." And they're like, "No." Well, it's like, "Yeah, we are a gang, but what are you going to do about it?" Like, "We're a sword fighting house gang."
We're not a gang. We're a close-knit group of friends.
We're just an upstanding social club of young citizens.
We just like being together and having fun together, and sometimes that involves hurting people. What's wrong with that?
Sometimes you just gotta dance, right? Sometimes you just gotta dance it out. That's my understanding of gangs, is West Side Story.
What is sword fighting but dancing with a blade?
Right?
Yeah, and sometimes people get cut by it. Who knows?
I mean, that guy in West Side Story definitely got cut. He died.
If you're in a gang, you have to get cut to prove that you're tough. I mean, that is sort of one of the prerequisites.
That's why Kenshin has those badass scars.
Wait, is that why?
And you know what? I bet the guy from Blade of Immortal, he has scars, right?
Oh, he has so many scars. He's scarred up.
Does Musashi have scars?
Musashi definitely has some scars. He gets cut up a lot. Actually, he gets cut across the forehead twice by the same guy. So he's got a big...
Hey, you know who else is like a cool, badass loner cop?
Who?
The guy from Outlaw Star. Gene Starwind.
He had scars. Yeah, he had a lot of scars.
And he had scars all over.
All over the place.
I think Spike from Cowboy Bebop, he had scars.
I guess so. Did he have scars? I don't really come to mind, but I'll take your word for it.
He had a false eye that's kind of a scar.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
And he's also kind of a badass loner cop. He's a bounty hunter. That's an explicit type of cop.
That is a cop. I mean, we don't. Someday we do have to have the cop discussion, but bounty hunters, they're cops.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but bounty hunters are cops.
What were we talking about? Vagabond, right? So you recommend it?
Yes, that's. Yes, I recommend Vagabond. I'm sure this is the first time you're hearing of it, and especially that it's good. But I'm here to give the official stamp of approval. I will be mailing out the official Anime Death Spiral award to Inoue Takehiko later today, so that he can put it on the back of the new issues, which I believe are still coming out like once every couple years.
The author of Don't Toy With Me, Nagatoro-san, has asked me to stop sending him awards. He is rejecting my mail at this point.
Yes, I know my manga is excellent. You don't need to send me these excellence awards. I'm well aware that my manga is both technically and morally good.
Dear Mr. Morodi, stop. Please stop sending me these packages. Stop. I will be forced to involve the police soon if you do not resist. Stop. Thank you for the cookies.
Okay, let's take a break. We meandered quite a lot. Let's do a quick reset.
All right, I'm going to go do some wandering cop shit while we're out.
Okay. All right, guys, you knew this was coming. Obviously, you know by now from the last segment that as beta male cucks, Nate and I did want to, without leaving the month of June, the Pride Month, we did want to highlight, as I'm sure all other anime podcasts and shows are doing, because the whole community is very respectful of just some, LGBTQIA identities and manga that focuses on more queer issues. This is the only time we do it is in June. We will never mention it outside of Pride Month. We will avert our eyes. But now that we're here, there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, because I do have some things, some manga that I read that kind of have some really interesting queer themes. I don't know if Nate has. He's never mentioned it to me before.
No, I've got some. I've got some to talk about.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if Nate knows what a gay person is.
Hey, my best friend is a gay person.
It's just, you lived in the nunnery for so many years. You've led such a sheltered life.
Well, they tried to hide their existence from us for as long as they could, but in with the iPhones and the internet and cable TV
and the Pope coming out and calling people slurs,
it's too hard to keep it all under wraps. And when the veil was lifted, I was fascinated, honestly.
Okay, all right. I guess that makes sense.
So I'm one of the good ones.
If you longtime listeners of the show know that we are, of course, male feminists. We're allies. We're on the same team. We're woke. We're the good. We're the good ones. We are the good ones. And of course, that means that we want to talk about some queer anime. Nate, did you watch or read any queer anime?
You know what? I did.
For the Pride Month of June.
I did. I read a couple things, but I'll start off.
I'm so proud of you. You're such a good ally. I'm so proud of you, Nate.
I feel really good about myself. I feel like just engaging in the most minimal way possible with this content has really boosted, the overall community well-being.
Yeah.
And I pat myself on the back for that.
It really makes me respect you more as a person.
As you should.
Yeah, as a straight white guy. It really makes me respect your engagement with the community.
So I'll start off. I wanted to tell you about one cute little comic that I found that is ongoing. It's relative.
Okay, well, no need to be patronizing.
Well, it is. It is very endearing. It's kind of cute.
Okay.
I'm not being patronizing when I say that. I want to be very clear. I am incredibly respectful. I am an ally. I say all of these things in the most conscientious way possible.
He believes all the correct things.
Mm-hmm. I believe all, and you know what? Anything that Remy believes, I believe it twice as much because I'm a better person.
Damn it, he got in there first. What comic is this, Nate?
Okay,
tell me what comic it is so that I can get in underneath you.
This is called Hibi Kimi by Koike Sadaji. I think I looked it up, and the localized title that the translators are going with is Every Day With You.
Wow, that's a lot.
And it is a comic about two young men, one of them that's still in college and one of them that is a screenwriter who works with, or I guess not screenwriter, a playwright. That's the other one, right?
He writes for the stage.
He writes for the stage. He works with a drama troupe where they put on various,
plays.
Yeah, plays. I didn't want to say amateur because they are professional actors.
Okay.
But he writes plays for this troupe and they put him on. And the setup is that they were both in a screenwriting class in college, and the one that goes on to be a screenwriter, who I'm going to refer to as the blonde one.
Okay.
He's I think older by a couple years because he graduated first. But they were a senpai kohai kind of thing.
Okay.
And after he graduated, for some reason, obviously because he had a crush on this guy, but he reached out to him and was like, "Hey, I'm really busy with my life as a script writer, a playwright. Would you mind basically can I hire you to be my personal assistant?"
Sure.
And the other one, who is the more socially reserved, he's kind of like a shy kid. What do you call that hairstyle? He's got kind of like the top knot ponytail thing going on, with the shaved sides.
The man bun?
He's a fashionable guy. He's a fashionable, cool, mysterious guy.
Sure.
Although we, the audience, get to see his internal monologue and realize that he's actually very shy and has a lot of social anxiety.
Yes.
Anyway, he takes on this job to basically be this guy's live-in cook / house assistant.
Wow.
But really, it's an excuse for them to spend time together and play out a domestic life, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically the crux of the comic is kind of a cute slice of life thing about them living together, working at the playhouse. Mm-hmm. He eventually gets this guy into acting, acting in his plays.
Oh, sure.
And that's kind of there's only 9 or 10 chapters out right now, so it's still real early on in the run. But we're kind of setting up this arc of him, becoming an actor and learning to come out of his shell.
And maybe come out actually.
Well, that was, I'm glad, a nice natural segue there.
Well, I was wondering the whole time you're saying this, I'm wondering, are they out? What's happening here?
Yeah, and so that is one of the things that made me interested in it, is that they are both explicitly out. The playwright one is kind of more open about it, and the shy younger one is kind of just realizing this about himself after not being concerned with romance most of his life. And it's not a big personal what do you call it, moment for him. It's just, he's like, well, I never really thought about romance or girls when I was in high school, And so I always just kind of like put it off and thought I would deal with it when I was in college. And then when I was in college, I just kind of realized that I'm more into dudes. And I've never had a boyfriend before, but
I found myself naturally drifting into musical theater.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just kind of tipped me off.
And so he's like, not uncomfortable about this fact. He's like just kind of coming into himself.
Sure, acclimating.
Acclimating is that being part of his identity. And so I like their dynamic. I think it's very endearing. How you kind of have the extroverted klutzy one and the introverted more reserved one.
Reminds me of another comic that we both had a lot of inner turmoil about.
Oh, which one?
How Do We Relationship?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Actually, very similar. Very similar.
Yeah. Except they're in a band, not in theater.
Well, there's like a rule about Yuri where they have to be in a band.
Everybody's got to be in a band.
Yeah.
And they've got to move in together way too soon.
At this point, like, music manga is a subgenre of lesbian manga. And so I like it for the most part. If I have to give it 2 criticisms, one, I was initially kind of off-put by the premise of hiring someone into this service position explicitly with the intent of like trying to get closer to them romantically.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
Little weird.
And then second, they could not help themselves from including the flamboyantly gay side character that's like constantly sexually harassing all of the other men in the drama troupe.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
What kind of harassment are we talking about? Like wet towel in the locker room kind of harassment?
No, they literally say like, yeah, he goes around and he touches all the guys' butts. They say it like that.
So he's playing grab ass.
Yeah, he's quite literally playing grab ass.
He's literally playing grab ass. Okay.
And to be fair, no one seems to be that like super upset about it. It's just like, oh yeah, it's just something he does. I feel like that's not the reaction that I would expect from say a Western point of view.
Is like being chill with the dude who goes around grabbing everybody's ass.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that it's supposed to be that they're like supposed to be chill with it either. I think it's still weird, right? But you shouldn't be grabbing ass. You probably shouldn't be grabbing ass.
Probably shouldn't be wandering around grabbing people's asses. The theater world is, notoriously a little loose, a little intimate, let's say. A lot of people maybe overly familiar when they've been working together a long time in the theater world.
I've heard stories about you drama kids and what you get up to backstage.
It only gets worse.
Bunch of disgusting perverts.
What about the plays?
That's the funniest thing. They don't really go into detail on what the plays he writes about, or at least they haven't yet. So the most we've got, the most we've seen of the actual dialogue of the play itself that they're practicing right now is them, practicing one scene from it, which just seems to be kind of like your standard saccharine, melodrama talk between two characters about truly living life and what it means to be free. We really don't get any insights into what the actual plot of that story is.
Oh man,
I know. I'm hoping maybe they do something cool with it. Maybe they do like a whole a Hamlet thing, a play within a play, right?
Well, that's the classic move, right? When you're writing a drama about people who perform in the theater or whatever, you always have a play within a play that echoes the themes of the work, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, so far it seems that they are playing up a connection between the play and this guy's affection, growing affection for the playwright, because one of the things that initially made him I have a crush on this guy, is reading the play and then like immediately rereading it over and over again like 3 or 4 times because he was so engrossed with it.
This play is so good. I'm hot for you.
Basically, yeah. And it zeroes in.
I wonder if that's ever happened in the history of writing. The script writer is usually the first person to be forgotten in the dramatic world, but that's cool. Good for him. Good for him. Writing good plays.
Yeah. So again, very early on, 9 chapters, but I added it to my library. I'm going to keep up with the updates because I do genuinely like their dynamic. I think what they're going for is just all right. Good for them. Thumbs up, gold star.
Good for them. I hope nothing bad happens, like in How Do We Relationship.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell me about something that you read?
Okay. Well, I had a few. A couple that I just wanted to mention was like we talked about Hikaru ga Shinda Natsu at some point, I think in the past, right? That's the one about sort of the BL about the boy whose friend goes off into the mountains and then comes back as something else. Woo. And it's fantastic. It's incredibly good.
He comes back kind of queer.
There's something queer about that boy.
Something that just ain't right.
That boy ain't right. No, not because of the gay thing. It's just I think he's like a weird alien or a monster or something. No, I'm not. I didn't mean it like that. I just he's like a ghost.
It's a changeling scenario.
Yeah, it's like a weird. He's a weird. No, I didn't mean anything bad. No, it's oh god. That is really. It's literally one of my favorite ongoing comics right now. It is fantastic, and the author of that has a one shot called Period that is a sort of a proto version of the story. Less fantastic, more focused on the interpersonal part. So it's kind of like a nice primer, and it's like very thematically tied. So, and when the Hikaru ga Shinda Natsu anime comes out, it might be nice to read Period first instead of reading Hikaru ga Shinda Natsu, because then you have like a feel for the story without spoiling any of the surprises. I thought that would be a nice thing to call out. I really like that one though. But the big one is To Strip the Flesh.
Okay.
Sounds pretty intense, right?
Yeah, that's that was that Scarlett Johansson movie, right? Wait, no, that was Under the Skin. Never mind.
Pretty close. This is a short story collection by Toda Oto. Toda or Toda Oto? I'm not sure. Toda Oto, you may remember as being one of the Chainsaw Man assistants. Remember when we talked about that?
We did talk about that a little bit.
Yes.
He's one of the proteges, huh?
Yes. We talked about how, Tatsuya Endo was one of the proteges. This Toda Oto is one of the proteges. We talked about Rin Matsui has a new comic coming out. They were also an assistant. Kura Mori Toru was also an assistant. I think we talked about these people. But we in the context of like the Fujimoto's assistants have all kind of like gone off and are doing like their own incredible works right now, and it's sort of been like the joke is like Fujimoto is an incredible headhunter, right? And this is Toda Oto's first like big work. They don't have anything serialized right now, but they just put out this short story collection, and the flagship story is called To Strip the Flesh, which is really fantastic. It's about a young trans man who lives alone with his father, who is let's say, very traditional, very traditional conservative kind of dude. And let me get the name just so I don't fuck this up. Chiaki. His name's Chiaki. So Chiaki and his father run a hunting YouTube channel, a Japanese hunting YouTube channel.
Okay, a bit specific, but all right.
Yes, it's kind of interesting. Chiaki's dad hunts the animal and then brings it back, and Chiaki butchers it on YouTube. Apparently that's a thing people are into. I've never actually considered watching butchering videos, but I know people are really into weird stuff on YouTube, so it sounds perfectly plausible to me.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know about anything about how to
No?
cut up meat.
No?
No. Hey, stay away from my history. All right, you don't need to go looking there.
You've never two-stripped the flesh of anything?
You know,
Is that what you're telling me?
You know, I may or may not be surrounded by a lot of taxidermy right now, so I feel like that should answer your question.
All right. Well, that's to keep the flesh.
Yeah, explicitly trying to keep the flesh.
Yeah, you're kind of the exact opposite because Chiaki yearns to do the hunting. Chiaki doesn't want to be confined to a butchering YouTube channel. Chiaki wants to go out and hunt, but his dad, being the kind of conservative asshole, goes, well, I can't let my little girl handle a gun. Little girls can't shoot guns. They'll fuck it up somehow because of gender essentialism.
I mean, like, a good portion of anime is girls firing guns.
Gunslinger girl, right? That's the whole thing.
It's right on the nose.
It's right on the nose. That girl's gun's bigger than her. So that's where a lot of the tension comes from in the story is Chiaki wants to become a hunter, but his dad believes that girls can't do that. And Chiaki is like deep in the closet because his mom died very early on in their life, and his dad has like a very deep seated desire to see Chiaki like married off as a bride, you know, this kind of thing. Again, very traditional kind of conservative values.
Mm-hmm.
And because Chiaki's dad is like getting older and it's getting kind of frail, you know, the whole deal, elderly parent thing, he really feels like transitioning, like fully transitioning would be kind of like a betrayal or like too shocking to her dad. So this is where all the emotional tension is built up. And the story kind of progresses, and obviously butchering and, stripping flesh is incredibly thematically relevant. You know, Chiaki pre-transition has very large breasts, which, yes, Chiaki's YouTube followers like to point out quite a lot diegetically in the story, which is an interesting choice. I think it really works in that space, but it's a lot of strange stuff coming together to become very thematically potent. And I really like this story. I think it's really well done. I think the whole story collection is really well done, but this is like the big one in the story. And it tells a really like straightforward and emotionally potent story about like a Japanese person having difficulties transitioning in a very conservative country, you know? And I think that's really cool to see somebody kind of lay that out.
Yeah. They can't, I mean, I'm assuming that they do it always in the most respectful and conscientious manner, right?
Well, you know, a thing I learned from this comic is apparently, and this has become like slang apparently because of how prevalent it is, but in Japan, trans men and women to transition have to fly overseas. So there is a thing where like people will say they're going to Thailand, and that means I'm going to have like gender transition surgery. That's like a shorthand for saying that.
Huh.
And I was like, I had not heard that one before, but okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah. Interesting.
So that is my big one. There were a couple other ones that I read too. You know, these are kind of lightweight. I've finished Liar Satsuki Sees Death, which is sort of a very lightweight Yuri story about a girl who can see dead bodies before the person has died.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great. It's a really great like little kind of mystery adventure thing. These girls kind of she helps these girls not only not die, though that is the big one, but also kind of like come to terms with a lot of their like emotional instability in it, and these girls kind of like grow closer together, and she saves this one girl's life. It's very romantic in that way. And one like that too, I also read Vampires, which I would recommend, is also kind of a lightweight Yuri, though it is one of those ones where like a girl feels unnaturally compelled to another girl who turns out to be a vampire. And then you get into the whole vampire thing where like, Aren't they like 300 years old or something? It just is. I'm just going to ignore that part, I guess.
Does that count as age gap romance?
I would call it that, yes, personally, but who knows? Vampires are a little bit weird. But yeah, I have one more. Did you read anything else?
Yeah, I read one other thing. This I just wanted to bring up because I honestly found the premise both upsetting and ridiculous.
Oh, hell yeah.
And another one that initially interested me because it was about an openly gay main character, which is something that I just haven't seen a lot of in anime up until recently.
Not too many.
I mean, lots of lamp shading, right?
Yeah, or just extreme caricatures. I'm looking at you, Curran Logon.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of too. No, this one is called Konya Mo Nemurenai by Yamamoto Kotetsuko. And this one was actually it was a short run. I think it ended at 22 chapters before it got canceled. I think it got out 3 volumes. So what this is about is we have our main character, Rikia, who is a recent college student. Again, same kind of deal as the other guy. Never really interested in romance in high school. And then finally he kind of gets out and moves out on his own and has a little bit of freedom and, just kind of comes into the understanding that he's into dudes.
Sure.
And so
as do we all.
Comic starts off. What? Wait, what?
What? Huh?
And so the comic starts off with him signing up for registering for a gay dating service, like an app.
Oh no, he's getting on the apps.
Oh
God.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And it starts off immediately positive. He hits it off with the first dude that messages him. This guy's saying all the right things.
All right.
Being confident but not too pushy. Incredibly charming, which should be setting off alarms and red flags all over, right?
Yeah, you don't want to meet anybody nice on the apps.
Hey, if they're being too nice, they're probably got some shady shit planned for you, which is exactly what happens, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
They go to meet up for their first date in person, and immediately, this kid gets roofied.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and taken to a hotel and is about to be basically sexually assaulted on camera because they plan on selling it on the net.
Jesus Christ.
And wouldn't you know it, the wallpaper in the Love Hotel just happens to have a demon summoning circle written on it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What? There's just, it's printed that way?
They literally say, okay, so what happens is...
Oops, we hung the demon summoning wallpaper instead of the
They don't even try
design?
and explain that. They literally say, hey, all of these walls have wallpaper like this. Yeah, but this one's a demon circle by chance. They somehow accidentally printed a demon summoning circle on their wallpaper.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Well, it is good because he's about to be horribly assaulted, and he accidentally summons a demon lord through this summoning circle.
Oh, a demon lord.
Yeah.
He got the double S pull and the gotcha.
Well, it was supposed to be a regular demon. But this particular demon lord, you see, is running away from his arranged marriage in the demon world.
Many such cases.
Mm-hmm. And he is sticking it to the demon man by hijacking this low-level demon portal and using it to escape to the human world.
All right.
And so he comes in and he's like, all right, hey, everybody cut the chit chat. This guy and I have a contract now, and I get to grant him one wish. So what's it gonna be?
Wait, he gets to grant wishes?
Yeah, he's a wish granting demon.
He's a wish grant, like a genie demon?
Well, I think the idea is that you give your soul in exchange for a wish, right? Isn't that the classic demon bargain?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so he's giving this guy his soul, huh?
Well, no, I don't think they. That's just what I'm assuming. They never say that.
Seems like you could make a good legal defense saying that you are not of sound mind.
Well,
probably wriggle out of that one in that scenario.
I don't think demons are known for being particularly litigious.
Okay, so what happens? He obliterates this dude with hellfire.
Well, no, he does the genie thing, right? He comes in and solves the immediate problem without actually granting any wishes, right?
Uh-huh.
So he kicks these guys. Well, he kicks one guy's ass with his demon strength, and the other two bad dudes that were in on it, they just kind of flee. I think they run out of the room.
Sure, it's probably pretty scary.
And so he turns to Rikiya. He's like, "All right, what's it gonna be? What's your wish?" And he's like, "Well, I don't really want anything, so I don't know. Like, I guess a boyfriend?" Like, he's like, all right, well, I can't, create a boyfriend for you, but I can mind control somebody into being your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Well, okay, it doesn't go there. He immediately says, well, I don't want that. I don't want to mind control somebody who doesn't actually want to be in love with me. Or
introduce him to a nice friend. Why does it immediately go to mind control?
Well, hey, he's still a demon, right? He's not out here doing all this altruistically.
Okay, all right.
And so this kid's like, well, I don't want you to do that. So I guess I wish for you to go home.
What?
Yeah. And the demon's like, fuck that. I don't want to go home. I'm not going to grant that wish. We'll work this out later. And so chapter 2 starts, and then it becomes a instant odd couple comedy about this dude living with a hottie demon.
Hot demon.
Yeah.
Hot demon roommate.
Well, I was using the AU spelling of hottie, but yeah, he's also a hottie.
Oh, a hottie. I got you.
He's a hottie with a body.
So they're just moved straight in.
Yeah.
Moved straight in together.
And so
wow.
I feel like it takes a very sharp turn from that introductory chapter, which was incredibly intense. And
yeah, that seems kind of heavy.
I'm leaving out the fact that it wasn't like he didn't stop it. He didn't stop the sexual assault from happening. It was in
Jesus
it was
Christ.
in the middle of it.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
And then we take this immediate turn to they're funny roommates that kind of have a crush on each other.
Goofy cohabitation.
Yeah.
Rom-com shit. Wow. Hey, many such cases. I wish I could say that's not the case, but man, I cannot count how many manga start with something extraordinarily awful or traumatic and then just pivot away from it immediately.
Like something incredibly horrific, right?
Yes. Just the worst shit you ever seen, and then let's not think about that anymore.
Yeah, let's now we're set up, and then let's
pretty common tactic.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they do here, word for word.
Jesus
and
Christ.
then going forward, the chapters that I've read so far, it's stuff first of all, they don't immediately get together. He moves in and he's like, I don't want to go back to the demon world because I don't want to marry that person. So I'm just gonna move in with you and trying to help. I'm gonna help you get a boyfriend.
Oh, sure.
That's how it starts off.
A little bit of
it's like, all right, first thing we got to do is get you back on the app.
If you fall off the horse really, really badly, all you gotta do is throw a splint on that bad boy and get back up.
He literally says, like, he's like, all right, you got to get back on the app. He's like, what? But I just, like, I literally had the worst experience of my life using that app. He's like, yeah, but, like, what if you don't with the next one? What if it's good?
Yeah. He's like, listen, with the death of third spaces, there's pretty much nowhere else you're going to meet anybody. Sorry.
And so he gets another date on the app, and then they do this kind of like wacky, like not double date, but like okay. So it turns out that this new guy that he goes to meet is really old. He lied about his age, right?
Sure, as one does on the apps.
And so, did I mention the demon can turn invisible whenever he wants?
You didn't even broach the subject of visibility at all.
Oh yeah, no, he has like god powers. He can make shit up. He can mind control people. He can fly. He can turn invisible. Like he's
sure.
He's a demon lord, you know?
He's a demon lord. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so he like does this thing where he is accompanying him, Rikia, on this date, but invisibly, right? Classic hijinks ensue.
Sure. Does he do a little bit of Cyrano de Bergerac?
You'll have to elaborate.
You know, tell him what to say to the guy to get him to fall in love.
No. He drops the invisibility thing pretty fast because, like most quirky anime romance characters, his endearing quality is that he can eat vast amounts of food. Right? He just eats and eats. And so he drops the invisibility to mooch in on their meal that they're having together.
Wow, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, he's kind of a piece of shit. He's a demon lord. And he says that. He's like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit because I'm a demon lord. Like, you're just going to have to get used to that.
Yeah, see, I always felt like if you're a demon lord, then it makes sense for you to be, I don't know, roasting orphans or like committing mass murder. But like if you're just like horning in on people's dates and kind of eating food off their plates, that's not like demon lord behavior. That's just like you're a jerk. Like, don't do that. All right, well, that was Gay Devil. That sounds really interesting, Nate.
It was called, okay, the title is called Every Sleepless Night. That is the localized title of that one. Konya Mo Nemurenai.
You want to take another run at that?
Konya Mo Nemurenai. There, got it.
All right, round of applause for that pronunciation. Yeah, that's a lot of Pride stuff. We really did a lot of respectful stuff and did representation of cultures and identities and really did all the really good ally stuff. We really did it, Nate. I'm so proud.
I'm feeling real good about myself. I think that we really made a difference out here.
Yeah.
In fact, you should be thanking us, dear listener. I think we've earned it.
Yeah, we're doing hearts and minds out here. Come on.
Yeah.
By reading manga.
And talking about it on the internet.
Briefly talking about it. Yeah, I feel really proud. I feel like we're going to ride out this episode on a nice high note.
Well, do you have anything left? Before we leave?
I've got so much stuff. I have an incredible amount of stuff, but I really want to get back to reading incredibly straight macho bullshit like Vagabond. So I think we should wrap this one up.
Remy's becoming increasingly insecure with his presentation.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm talking about gay stuff too much.
The creeping masculinity is finding him.
They're going to accurately think I'm a beta male cuck.
Okay.
Oh no, they're going to find out.
Okay. All right. Beautiful, handsome, and tall, and very, very cool listeners. We love you, as always.
Very, very gay listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to yet another whatever this is for another week. You guys get out there, do free promotion for us. We like it when you do that.
This is our call to action.
We're really happy when you do that for us. And I promise you, it'll be worth it somehow.
We have we got prizes planned, I think.
Oh yeah.
We'll do an on-set meet and greet.
If we ever get a second listener, we will do a giveaway.
Yeah. Of the first listeners' things.
Yeah, the things they donated to us out of pity. It's going to be really cool, you guys. And I hope you like anime, because it's probably going to be something like that.
Okay. Blue Sky, TikTok, we're on there. Check us out at Anime Death Spiral. That's it for today.
That's it.
Bye.
Doing like really awful shit. And for what? A small amount of experience points?